Lay My Burden Down, a movie on a reflection from an individual living
It's
in the
no
post-civil
school.
rights movement
There's
in
not
southern
enough
Alabama.
chairs to go around.
I hope you really enjoyed this
Some,
movie and this
no books,
perspective.
no blackboards, nothing for the teachers to work with.
Now is the time to make real the promises of democracy. Now is the time. Make Selma, Alabama a better city. Now is the time. Transform Alabama, the heart of Dixie, to a state with a heart for brotherhood and peace and goodwill. Now is the time to make justice a reality for the
In March of 1965, thousands of Americans from all over the country gathered in Selma, Alabama. They marched 54 miles to the state capitol in Montgomery to dramatize the extent of racial injustice in that state and throughout all the Deep South.
So I say, walk together, children. Don't you get weary. There's a great camp meeting in the promised land. Alabama will be a new Alabama, and America will be a new America. Turn me round, oh, turn me round, oh, turn me round. They're gonna let us move, but turn me round. I'm gonna keep on walking, keep on.
President Johnson signed the Voting Rights Act of 1965, and they thought they were on their way back towards progress and finally having the rights they fought for. A year after the protests had ended, this reporter went back down there to see how the community was living more than 100 years after they first took up that heavy burden. Lay My Burden Down, a look at life today, the Southern African American lives. This is Selma, where the march began. There have been some small changes since the march. There was token integration of schools, and African Americans were running for local elections. But he's still an outsider, and he's still excluded from the social, economic, and political sides of the communities. There were no African Americans on the police force or at City Hall, except for the janitor that was employed there. Although incidents with the police were down, they were still complaining of harassment, and the ones who had expected more from the civil rights movement just felt lost and disillusioned.
Many other people felt that there would be some changes, dramatic changes made. Well, the jobs that are available to people are the same old thing that they've been going through all the time, is doing the white folks' dirty work. There have been no jobs created. A lot of people out of jobs. We find more people at work now than it did before then, for the demonstration.
There were few jobs, and many in the city and on the farms even were going hungry. And nearly 14% of the population of African Americans were having to receive government helps or benefits just to survive from year to year.
Business is booming.
Everything here is setting records. We had the biggest year in '64 that we ever had. In '65, '64, '65 was the biggest. It was a record year in all areas. Our city set records in sales and sales tax revenues, in building permits issued, and the growth of our city, all during this so-called terrible year and the blight of Selma. We had a good city, and people that come down here saw it, but the country was more interested in the hysteria and the publicity that went out of here, but this was confined to an area. It's more true today than ever. The people of Selma are caught up in progress and growth. We've got good Negro people here and good white people here. This is a good community. The colored people themselves will tell you today there's no place they would rather live than Selma, Alabama, and Dallas County.
At this time, prosperity and growth, though, were still for whites only, especially if you lived in the countryside. Wealth came from the ownership of the land. and they never owned it. They just worked it as a sharecropper or a tenant. Since 1940, over 3 million African Americans have left the South, not being able to make a living down there. And over 4 million were still left living there with no hope or a way out of it. African Americans depend on the white man at this time for everything. He lives in a shack given to him by the white man and must borrow for food, fertilizer, and seed. The per capita income of African Americans at this time were less than $1,000 per year.
And though large families are an asset in farming, they can be an economic burden until the children are old enough to work. The burden begins at birth. Unable to afford a hospital, most Negroes are born in the same shacks as their parents, delivered by a midwife, who, though cheaper than a hospital, still costs $20. Large families are common among rural Negroes, but so is infant mortality, which is twice as high among Negro babies as white, one of the highest mortality rates in the nation. And those born into a black world soon learn what it's like to survive in one that's white.
If you don't
And they are all happy.
White all colored can get ahead if you're willing to pay the price.
Yes, sir.
Price is willing to do out a lot of things you think you got to have and work like the dickens.
Frugality and hard work may pay off for some Americans, but not if you're black, a farmer, and live in the South.
Sit down here too.
These are the Johnsons, typical of the rural Negro living in the Selma area. Their daily lives have remained unchanged since the march. Like most Negroes, they don't own the land, they rent it. They have 7 children. All of them live in a 2-room shack which Mr. Johnson built himself. They have no plumbing, no telephone, no TV or radio, no automobile. And while some Negro tenant farmers in 20th century America have wells and some have pumps, the Johnsons have neither and must haul their water from a quarter-mile away. They must borrow to live and live in constant debt. They owe for food, fertilizer, and seed, and have $200 in doctor bills they are struggling to pay. They grow some food for themselves, but hunger is a constant in their lives. Too many mouths and too little money. Mrs. Johnson does the best she can and tries to take it all philosophically.
Things is tough. If you don't have enough food for them to eat, well, you know, they have to go hungry. And we won't have nothing much to feed them off of. Most of the Negro farmers right here, they all have the same trouble. You have to have faith, you know, in the Bible, you know, for things to be better. Read the Bible, and then by reading the Bible, you got to mean what you say when you read the Bible, and then if you ask him and read the Bible and mean what you say, well, he ain't just gonna come down for the only bring it down here to you. But still, you got to have faith. You know, of course, he ain't coming down and just bring it to you just like a natural man. But if you mean what you say, probably it might be a way over for you.
Walter Johnson is the only one of 6 sons to remain on the farm. The rest have gone north. He farms 9 acres of cotton and corn with his father, Champion Johnson, who spent a lifetime, 71 years behind the plow. Champion doesn't have much to show for it. Small mule farmers never do.
I ain't never been able to run no great big farm, nothing but, mule farm like that. That's like I'm running now, and then it don't, one farm, little farm like that, they don't ever make nothing. And if you go on a farm, you're supposed to get up and go to the field every morning. And then that you have to borrow some money to run this farm with. This is buy food, clothes, fertilizer, one thing and another. Whatever it takes, sometimes you have to buy old mule, anything you have to buy, say like you have to borrow. But you don't get money enough to buy what you need. And after that cold, you got to wait now till you make some, and you didn't make none. And you got to start bad news next year. That's the way that runs. You can see the situation, you tell about what a fellow ought to have when you see the situation.
Yeah.
The situation shows about what he got.
For 25 years, the U.S. Agriculture Department has provided low-cost loans for the small farmer unable to get money elsewhere. But this program is run by white Southerners and benefits mostly the white farmer. Champion Johnson believes it's easier for a white man to get a loan than it is for him.
I know it is, yeah. It's easy. Yeah, I ain't had no way to pay it back, and they ain't gonna let me have that much. But they take a chance on him. That's the way I see it. Well, they can get over to what I can't. That wasn't making it look like to me like that. I can't borrow, but well, I used to couldn't get no more than $50 to make a farm with, and they figured that was too much.
Like most Negro farmers, Walter Johnson cannot make a living from the farm alone. So he digs ditches 5 days a week and farms on weekends. But digging ditches, like other jobs open to Alabama Negroes, doesn't pay well. And so even with the additional income, life is rough for the Johnsons.
You don't be able to buy them something to eat and buy them clothes and shoes or whatever they need all at the same time.
Tough if you can't get over to no food. It's tough if you have a job and ain't making nothing to get on. I think it's tough for ways.
If you had a chance to change things, what would you want?
Well, I would want my children plenty of clothes and shoes and plenty of food for me, and put out some money if I had it for sickness, anything like that. I have it to take to the doctor with, things like that. Use for if I just had to go someplace and I wouldn't have to worry other people so much.
But Mrs. Johnson knows of the risks of farming and the chance of failure.
Farming is a gamble, and some years you make pretty good, and some of the years you don't make nothing. Just go clean out of business.
Well, stay like it is now, you won't have nothing to start with. But bad year come along, and rain a spell or dry spell. Sometimes it rains too much, and sometimes it gets too dry, just like it dry now. That's all right, If it stay hot and dry, it won't make nothing. It don't nothing grow when it's hot and dry like this. Yeah.
When the wells dry up, all of their water is dragged by mule and an old wooden sled from this spring, about a mile from their house.
Put the top on there. Come out, that's all. We'll have a cycle there. Oh! Get over there, Joe. Come out. Come out. Come out. Come out. Move. I don't know what y'all don't have. Throw it away. Got a darn thing on the screen. Yeah, you got my clothes open, but full rig down here too. Missed all my other things all down this thing, you know. Time and throw it away. Let me tell them, let me give them this. Water coming right out.
If you ain't living in the right way and pray to him and ain't meaning what you say, well, you still will stay in that same tough luck, cause you don't mean what you say. He figure you don't mean what you say, and you don't be wanting to arm nothing. Well, you still will be just like you started.
To continue farming, the Negro farmer must break out of a cycle of debt. He needs technical advice and the money to improve his farm. Neither banks nor government programs give him the help he needs. So he must rely on himself and his family. But the cost is high. As soon as he's old enough, the boy goes behind the plow when he should be in school. Walter Jr., 15 years old, misses more than a month of school each year. His grades are poor, his job future bleak. White school officials do not enforce Negro attendance, and many Negroes think they don't really care.
I'm going to tell you, reading the white folks don't tell us to go to school and see to us going to school. If you learn yourself some sense, you're going to be just a little notch ahead of them. They always stays 2 years ahead of us. When we get where they at, they 2 more years ahead of us. And so out of all you do, let's try. If you don't be able to send them a college, some of them don't finish school out here in the tower that gets that can't spell express. Finishing the 12th grade. Can't spell express, and they turn them loose out there. But nothing for that. You go ahead and try to get it, and the only way these children can get it is by us sticking out us neck. helping these kids. When these kids get to the 12th grade, I say they got enough. If you have to lick dirt for your children, don't go steal them now. If you have to lick dirt for your children, wash your clothes at night, if they want them education, get it. Anybody can be nobody, but everybody can be somebody.
Even when these children do go to school, their education is still second-rate. There's been hardly any integration in the rural South, and it's been 12 years since the Supreme Court ordered Southern schools desegregated. Negroes complain of lack of federal enforcement.
What's the objection around here to Negro children in white schools?
Well, just that very thing. No morals, whatever. That's the biggest job. And most of the Negroes don't want to go to white schools. Now, that's the truth of the whole thing. If it was left to them, if somebody wasn't paying them to start it, they wouldn't do it.
It's all torn up inside, and it ain't got the things that the children should have inside of the school. You know, this needs repairing and fixing. It's not a good school. It needs good places to have to go. They ain't got it. And then the teacher's too scared to let people go inside and look at it because it's awful. It's not a good school.
Well, it's having me if this is not going to hurt us.
You don't know what's going to do to you. You don't know what they're going to say or what they're going to write. You don't know anything what they're going to do.
No, I say if it's not
going to do you any good, I tell you now.
Yes, sir.
No, it's not.
Will it do us in the home?
Jack?
Will it do us in the home?
Might, I don't know.
How's it going to do
might not
harm?
do any harm, might not do any good. But they don't want you interfering in the school, how the schools. Now, when school's out, children gone home, going to come back and take some pictures, that's all right. But why school is in session? School's in session now,
Yes. How's it going to do any harm, Sheriff?
I don't know about
How's it going to do these people any harm?
I don't know. Yeah.
Well, why do you say it might do harm?
I've never seen it do any good.
What do you think of the school? Let me ask you.
I think it could be improved.
You think so?
Yeah.
What could you do for it?
I can't do nothing because...
What do you think ought to be done for it?
I just think they ought to fix them up with good school if they're not satisfied with it. But they seem to be satisfied with it.
Here we go, loo-doo-doo. Here we go, loo-doo-doo. Here we go, loo-doo-doo. On a Saturday night, I put my right hand in, I take my right hand out, I give my right hand shake, and turn my body about. Here we go,
It's no school. There's not enough chairs to go around. Plumbing, no books, no blackboards, nothing for the teachers to work with.
On a Saturday night, I put my right foot in, I take my foot out, I give my right foot shake, and turn my body about. Here we go, loo-doo-loo, here we go, loo-doo-loo. On a Saturday night, I put my left foot in, I take my left foot out, I give my left foot shake, and turn my body about. Here we go, loo-doo-loo, here we go, loo-doo-loo. On a Saturday night, I put my big head in, I take my big head out, I give my big head...
Most of them are renters. They're cash renters. Now, some of them do all right, but mighty few of them can get out and...
Kept poor and illiterate, most rural Negroes must still depend on landowners like Morris Tate.
Wake you up pretty regular sometimes, but they have to work at home in the crop, too, when they need them. But when I send for them to... say unload a truckload of fertilizer or something, I don't have any trouble. I just send them wood. I want them to hit me in the morning at 6 o'clock to unload 25 tons of fertilizer. Well, I'll have 10, 12, 15 of them will be here to unload it. And they're all out of the way. Well, I can't just get up here and tell them, well, so just get out. Now, if you didn't do what I said do, it'd be a different team, man.